Welcome. So, congratulations on a very successful ICO. Let's just right off the bat, let's begin with that. What does it take to pull off a successful ICO, especially in a Pan-African country?
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of factors involved in pulling something like that off. You need to be very legitimate in the first instance, so it's not about trying to raise funds as a primary motivation. You need to have a real underlying use case for the cryptocurrency that you're trying to issue. You also need to, be quite knowledgeable about what you're trying to do. So, do a lot of research, get a lot of quality knowledgeable people on your team that can help you really think through the use case and the actual tech implementation. And then you need to be able to package the story in a way that the world and your potential backers can understand. So your packaging, your marketing, your materials has to sort of exude quality, and more so for African ventures where we're not sort of used to the space and we need to do a little more to prove ourselves. So having the right backers, the right people on the team, the right messaging and the right story will really result in a very successful project, I think.
So it was basically successful, or rather a match made in heaven based on your networking capabilities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a real business that was begging for this type of use case. We had a network of people that could really support us in our deployment. We have backers from our existing business as well that are very highly reputable, like 500 Startups, Greenhouse Capital. Our team had pretty decent pedigree as well. All of those factors combined, as well as just our normal experience in running quality projects and running quality processes, came together to really result in a very successful project.
So we'll circle back to that question later. So just tell me about what exactly is SureRemit.
Yeah, so it's a product that is supposed to be a global non-cash remittance platform. So we're looking to become the platform where immigrants all over the world can access services and goods locally without having to go through cash intermediaries. So for use cases where you have a specific reason for sending money, you can bypass the IMTOs and the bank and send a voucher that can be redeemed directly for those goods and services by the recipient locally. So we're just trying to cut off all of the intermediaries for all these non-cash use cases. Yeah.
So is it safe to say that you are the first world company to do this in the world?
Yeah, so there have been attempts at creating non-cash services for remittance use cases. For example, services that allow you to pay for bills in different countries, that allow you to send airtime and all of that. But we're looking to be the first coordinated effort into creating a product that is specific to that use case, not just becoming a hybrid of something else. So we're aggregating local physical merchants as well as these utility bill channels as a service. So we think we're the first major effort at providing a non-cash remittance global non-cash remittance platform. Yeah.
So politically, immigration has been an issue and is an issue in terms of geopolitics. Do you think your company steps in to rather mitigate some of those harmful effects that immigrants suffer?
Yeah, so generally immigrants, regardless of the political factors that cause their immigration or whatever, they just trying to make a living, and they usually leave friends and family in their home countries as well. And a big need for them is they're big value drivers for the local economies. They need to send value home somehow, and half the time they don't need to send money. They're just trying to support with food, support with clothing, support with shelter and things like that. We're just trying to make their lives easier wherever they are, and we're trying to stay away from the political implications. Just trying to support these guys by enabling them to send value home to support their friends and family in a way that is seamless and free to do, without having to go through the risk profiling that they would normally have to go through, and all the cash and timeline costs that they have to go through when trying to send cash home.
So now that you had a successful ICO, what next for SureRemit, for Kenya and Africa?
Yes, so the people who participated in our ICO are expecting a very aggressive ramp up of our merchant network. So they want a situation where wherever you are and whatever use case you have, you can send that value home to your recipient. So we need to be in the key remittance corridors: Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, Morocco, as quickly as possible. And the first thing to do is to ensure that is by expanding our merchant acceptance network in all these markets we're targeting, and not only for Africa, for other emerging markets as well, as to a position to be a global remittance platform. We're just lucky to be from Africa, definitely.
So tell me about your team.
Yeah, so my team is very close knit and it's very small. Right now, we're mostly concentrated in Nigeria. A small team also locally here in Kenya. It's a team of about just under 20 people, mostly software people and all of that. But right now, we're looking to expand aggressively by building a network of merchants in a bunch of people that would acquire those merchants and manage those relationships. So our team will be expanding in that direction very quickly locally as well.
So what do you see, or what can you predict about the cryptocurrency market for Africa in the next, say, 5 years?
Yeah, so I think Africa is the market that really needs an instrument like that the most, based on the direction of government, the direction of the economies. So we think that cryptocurrency adoption will really continue to see one of the fastest growth rates in Africa, and the drivers of that will be companies like ours that are creating use cases around these cryptocurrencies, and with this ICO that we've completed, that should open the doors to many other entrepreneurs who are thinking about innovating around blockchain and cryptocurrencies to come up with their use cases, put it out to the world, and let the world back it. And that way, Africans will find adoption and real life use cases for cryptocurrencies beyond speculation and things like that.
Finally, circling back to the initial question I asked about how you would be able to mount a successful ICO campaign. Why do you think Africa lacks that credibility for venture funds to come here in their droves? And what do you think we need to do in terms of packaging ourselves and governments coming into play? And basically, how can we prop ourselves up so that we are able to have such conversations out there?
Yeah, so the venture capital industry in general, it's pretty broken fundamentally, particularly in how capital flows work. Africa, last year raised less than $200 million in venture capital. That's a fraction, a drop in the water in the global scale. And if the opportunities exist here, the market is very virgin. But the way VC works is that there's pattern recognition, there are biases that Africans do not really fit into, that do not really lend easily to raising significant capital globally. So you find a lot of the funds that are coming in here are raised by expatriate founders, or they are aid money or charitable givings. They're not really funds that are targeted at building real local businesses and things like that. So what the ICO industry does, or what the cryptocurrency market enables, is for you to look beyond the West, the Silicon Valley fundraising model, and just put your case or put your business in the front of your potential users and potential customers. And if they see value in it, they back it, and you can run your project successfully. So I think the future of Africa is really to look beyond traditional VC, traditional government, and traditional aid money, and looking to find alternative sources of capital, like we have done, and then that way we might be able to unlock some really great ideas and really potentially valuable entrepreneurs as well. Yeah. And
now, finally, most fundamentally, who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm just a simple guy, dreamer. I had my background in finance and accounting, but really stumbled into tech, a few years ago. But I've been, because of how raw and slow and emerging Africa is with tech, I've found myself really deeply ingrained within the ecosystem, such that I've been around for a while and done quite a lot as well. So I think my future really is on the continent, just building tech businesses, trying to grow, pioneer a few things. So I was a pioneer at the e-commerce phase, pioneer in my own company with gift cards, pioneering this whole blockchain and ICO space. So just hope to continue to pioneer new tech, breakthroughs into the future as well in Africa. But yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Cheers.